Hello, BookTube. This is Weekly Reads. My reading week this week has been quite good. I started my reading week with a reread. Last week, I mentioned that I was starting to feel an urge to revisit the collected poems of James Merrill, and over the weekend, I did so. I read the first 192 pages. And I liked it well enough, but I didn't necessarily love it. I don't know if I'm going to finish the book or not. I might pick up where I left off if I feel the urge or if I'm in a particularly poetic mood, which I may or may not have this coming reading week. We shall see. On the whole, I liked what I read, but I don't think I necessarily loved it. Although me and poetry is weird. My reading relationship with poetry is a bit weird. So anyway, over the course of the work week, I read copious amounts of manga. I read, let's do a pile and hope like heck nobody falls down. Well, yeah. I read this over the course of the reading week. Now, part of me wanted to devote this whole reading week to manga, but I also wanted to wait until my various manga hauls came in, which did. And so instead of starting on the weekend, I started on Monday. So I started off with the 3 new releases that came out last Tuesday on November 5th, my birthday. I started with Demons of the Shadow Realm, Volume 6 by Hiromu Arakawa. Demons of the Shadow Realm is a series set in modern-day Japan. It's about 2 twins, Yuru and Asa, who were born in a village called Higashi that exists out of time. Not magically, but the village is separate from the rest of Japan. Yuru is allowed to roam freely, and his sister Asa is imprisoned in the village castle until one day the village is attacked, and the woman leading the attack appears to be Asa herself, and she has the Asa that has been imprisoned killed, or seemingly killed. Yuru manages to partially fend off the attack. However, he is sent to the outside world alongside 2 demons, sort of guardian entities called Left and Right, accompanied by an individual who works as a go-between between Higashi Village and the real world. And Yuru is trying to figure out, is this Asa who attacked the village the real Asa? What happened to my parents? Where are they? What's going on? This volume starts where Volume 5 left off. The false Asa, who is herself a demon, has been kidnapped alongside another village child on a second attack on Higashi Village. And the kidnappers have demanded that Yuru come to surrender himself in order to ensure the hostage's safety. Yuru decides to fight back, as he normally does. And Yuru is himself captured at the end of the last volume. and taken to talk to one of the people leading this operation. However, it is revealed that while the kidnapping was a trap, there was actually another trap going on. So, for most of the series, there have been two factions, Higashi Village and the Kagomori clan, who took in Asa. And neither side is necessarily all that good. The Kagamoris come off as quite benevolent, although they do have their hidden agendas. And Higashi Village definitely has some corruption going on and an agenda of their own, although it hasn't been too deeply delved into. In this volume, Yuru's companions and the Kagamoris come together to launch their own trap to flush out another faction, the Shingo, who are related by marriage to the Kagomori. And this entails old man Kagomori going to town, and that is just amazing. And also reveal that there was a mole in the Kagomori, and how he's dealt with it's really fun. And sort of the focus on the cover model of this volume, Asuma Kagomori, is really good too. So I really enjoyed this volume. It was a lot of fun. And I really, really like the ending. I cannot wait for volume 7, which I think I have to wait till January or February. I'm thinking February. I know the next volume of Four Knights of the Apocalypse by Nakaba Suzuki comes out in February. This is volume 14. So Four Knights of the Apocalypse is the sequel series to The Seven Deadly Sins. In this series, 4 superhuman teenagers, the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, are foretold to bring about the downfall of a corrupted King Arthur and his false Camelot. In this volume, Percival, one of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, and his companions are in the demon realm, looking for a backdoor to Camelot. This backdoor exists on the back of a monster called the Behemoth that is ravaging the demon realm. Percival and two of the other Knights of the Apocalypse, alongside their companions, are in a giant demon golem called an Albion, marching to the Behemoth, while Gawain, the fourth of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse, has been kidnapped and captured by a squad of holy knights from Camelot called the Chaos Knights, who have been sent to disrupt the Four Knights of the Apocalypse's sort of that doorway into Camelot. So eventually, Percival and company fight the Chaos Knights. Lancelot fights the best swordsman of the or fighter of the Chaos Knights, Nanishi, who was a character from the Seven Deadly Sins. Percival is taken to a duel with the commander of the Chaos Knights, Martlack. Tristan, one of the Four Knights, he has to fight a chaos monster formed by a fusion of demons. And Gawain ultimately comes to engage this monster as well. And the companions are largely defeated by the other Chaos Knights, who are themselves largely defeated, one-shotted by Gawain once she gets freed. I really enjoyed this volume. It was a lot of fun. Next up is a first volume, Kagurabachi, Volume 1 by Takeru Hokazono. So Kagurabachi is a new series. It started last year and has become quite popular. Kagurabachi is about a young man named Chihiro whose father, uh, Kunishigi, is a magical swordsmith. He forges enchanted katana. Years ago, during the Seitei War, 6 of the enchanted blades that Kunishige forged were instrumental in Japan's victory. However, a terrorist or criminal organization of very powerful sorcerers have decided to steal the 6 enchanted blades and kill Kunishige. This event leads Chihiro from desiring to follow in his father's footsteps into becoming a swordsman himself and wielding a 7th blade that his father crafted. And Chihiro, after training, goes on a revenge quest to hunt down these sorcerers who murdered his father and to prevent them from misusing the enchanted blades. So the first chapter of Kagurabachi introduces Chihiro and his father, as well as a family friend named Chiba. And the second chapter focuses on Chihiro taking down a group of Yakuza who have taken over a small city with the aid of these criminal sorcerers. The next chapter sees them in Tokyo looking for leads to this organization, and a young girl comes seeking help. She's being pursued by other sorcerer criminals for her bloodline. She has a healing factor. And the leader of this criminal faction has one of these 6 enchanted blades, although he is not himself a member of the Hishaku, the sorcerers who killed Kunishige. I love this volume. It was amazing. When I finished this volume, I was very close to throwing a tantrum because I'm going to have to wait until February for volume 2. It was so good. Let's look at some of the volume. That's a little bit too graphic, but I love Chihiro's character. He is just awesome. And Char, the young girl, she's really interesting as well. Just, I loved it. It is so good. And the cliffhanger at the end, I'm really looking forward to it. So, yeah. I cannot wait for February. February is going to be a really fun month once these number of the series that I'm following come out. So, yeah. So, yeah, really good. So, next, I read 2 volumes of Zom 100 by Hiroaso and Kotaro Takata. Volumes 8 and 9. So, Zom 100 is a zombie apocalypse series. It's about a young man named Akira who works as a wage slave. He's a real life zombie at a very exploitative corporation. When the zombie apocalypse happens, Akira takes the opportunity to quit his job and embark on writing down a bucket list of 100 things he would like to do or wants to do before he becomes a zombie. Joining Akira and contributing some of their own bucket list items to the quest are a college friend of Akira's named Kensho, a young woman named Shizuka, and a German tourist named Beatrix. So Volume 8 starts with the group alongside a robot butler from an AI hotel named Lambda Chop are going on a sake tasting binge, and they end up encountering some zombies. The next 2 chapters in this volume see Akira wanting to go to a dinosaur dig and museum to discover fossils. While there, zombies break into the museum and somehow or other make a Spinosaurus skeleton come to life alongside other fossils. And this forces Akira to remotely pilot a Tyrannosaurus Rex animatronic to fight off the Spinosaurus. It is really funny. And then the final chapter in this volume sees Akira dealing with boredom and having some conversations with long dead philosophers. Volume 9 sees the group in Osaka to visit an old college friend of Akira and Kensho's named Takamine. Takamine has become a scavenger, kind of traveling around in an abandoned Osaka, avoiding zombies in order to find junk to sell at Osaka Castle, where many of the survivors have fled. The community of survivors that has sprouted up in Osaka is very capitalistic. It's very stratified. The wealthy live in Osaka Castle and have turned it into a casino where people deeply in debt are forced to play a game in which they either win a fortune or get eaten by zombies. Akira takes the opportunity, seeking information, to start a bar with Kensho and Takamine. It doesn't go well initially until Akira hits on the idea of incorporating the bucket list into the bar, and this brings in a small fortune. And that ignites in Akira a fairly negative character trait. He becomes quite greedy and uses the profits from this bar to buy his way into Osaka Castle. And it's up to his friends to snap him out of it. And how they do that is going to be amazing. But I really enjoyed the concluding scenes of it. Just, that was amazing. So yeah, I really had a lot of fun with these 2 volumes, and I'm really looking forward to reading some more since I have gotten caught up with collecting the available volumes of Psalm 100. While I'm at it, I do want to show you the fight with. Yeah, this is a really cool one. Just really fun. Okay. And I also, over the course of this reading week, finished the final 5 volumes of Delicious Indention by Ryoko Kui, volumes 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So, Delicious Indention is a series inspired by role playing games. In the setting, there are a number of magical locations known as dungeons. One of these dungeons is controlled by a mad magician named Sissel, the character on the cover of Volume 10. He forced an old kingdom into the dungeon in order to save them from attack. And over the generations, survivors, new inhabitants of the land have begun to explore the dungeon. And one of these explorers is Leos, who is obsessed with monsters. His sister Fallon, who is a mage, has joined him in his quest alongside Fallon's friend Marcel, and who's an elven mage, and Chilchuk, who is a half-foot lockpick and trap expert. During a quest, they and 2 others are attacked by a red dragon, and Fallon is eaten. 2 of the party members, Namari and Shuro, leaving just Leos, Marcel, and Chochuk to rescue Fallon. With no supplies, they are forced to live off the dungeon. And this brings them to Shinshi, a dwarf who himself has been living off the dungeon. And he's become quite the expert about living off the dungeon. And Leos takes the opportunity to explore what the various monsters of the dungeon taste like. And so they go off to rescue Fallon. They eventually do. However, the resurrection process is complicated, and she is in part merged with the red dragon and is herself enslaved by Sissel. And so this leads to a further quest to defeat Sissel and fully resurrect and restore Fallon. It's at this point that they come to the attention of an entity called the Winged Lion, who is offering help to defeat Sissel. At the same time, there is the dungeon has become unstable, and the elves have sent in a party of dungeon capturers called canaries to deal with the problem. It's revealed that at the heart of every dungeon, there is a demon who manipulates the dungeon lord in order to eventually consume the dungeon lord's desires. Sissel has managed to um, forego that fate by imprisoning the demon of his dungeon. However, that demon is the winged lion, and Leos and party eventually end up freeing the winged lion, and Sissel is defeated. However, the winged lion then transforms Marcel into the dungeon lord, and she begins to expand the dungeon worldwide, which allows the demon to escape. And then Leos becomes the dungeon lord and eventually manages to give the winged lion a taste of its own medicine. And it's really fun. I really enjoyed these final 5 volumes. Um, oh, yeah. Hmm. And I love the artwork, so I had a blast. And finally, today I read 3 volumes of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End by Kanehito Yamada and Tsukasa Abe, volumes 7, 8, and 9. So, Frieren is a series about an elven mage named Frieren, who 80 years previously was part of a party of heroes led by Himmel, who defeated the Demon King. In the years since this victory over the Demon King, Frieren has continued her journeys researching magic. Eventually, she takes in a young human mage named Fern as her apprentice, and also comes into the custody of a young human warrior named Stark, or to have custody over a young human warrior named Stark. And together, the 3 journey looking for heaven. In order to get there, the trio have to go to the Northern Peninsula. However, only first-class mages can go there. So, in an earlier arc, which concludes in this volume, Frieren and Fern take the test to become a first-class mage. The leader of the testing organization and continent-spanning magical association is no fan of Frieren's, and Frieren is pretty quickly failed. However, Fern manages to pass, and they go into the Northern Peninsula and have a number of adventures, and it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. Reading these volumes. Um, so most of these volumes are their continued journey, although there are a few arcs. In the volume 8, Frieren, Fern, and Stark help two first-class mages fight off an attack of demons, and it was really fun. Particularly the teamwork between Stark and I'm blanking on the Guelso? No. See, what is his name? Genau. Yeah, so Stark and Genau fight this dude here, Revolta, while Fern, Frieren, and Methode fight these two. And it is really fun. I really enjoyed the teamwork between Methode, Fern, and Frieren. So, and then volume 8, 9 sees so most of this volume is devoted to the beginnings of an arc in which Frieren, Fern, and Stark help another first-class mage named Denkin save a region of the northern plateau that has come to be called the Golden Land. Because decades ago, a demon named Mocked, who has the power to turn anything he desires into gold, turned an entire city into gold. And this spell has been expanding ever since. And Frieren, Fern, and Stark are seeking a way to help Denkin defeat Mocked and turn everything back into how it should be. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed this volume. And one of the things that I really like about Frieren is how the story is both kind of present tense as well as goes in flashbacks to Frieren's time with Himmel and his party. Um, I really like this cover. So, yeah, I had a blast. So, what will I be reading this coming reading week? I think tomorrow and Sunday. So over the weekend, I'm going to read Gachiakuta Volume 4 by Kei Urana, which is a new release that I haven't quite gotten to yet. So I'll start Saturday with Volume 4 of Gachiakuta, as well as 6 volumes of Zom 100. So that would be volumes 10 through 15, which I have. And then on Sunday, I will read Bleach volumes 19 through 24. So, really looking forward to that. Now, I'm not totally sure what I will be reading over the course of the rest of the reading week. I could read Frieren volumes 10 and 11, which I have, as well as Record of Ragnarok 8 and 9, and then maybe read a few more manga volumes to round out the week, or I could devote the work week to more poetry, perhaps maybe reading some more from the collected poems of James Merrill, as well as the poetry collections that are coming in. I have one that came in this past week. There's another one that will be coming in Tuesday, and I have two more. I did mention that I really wanted to collect a bit more Anne Macari, and I did. So I think I now have just one collection of hers that I am missing. And I will haul those on Thursday. So yeah, so that's my plans. So we'll see what I decide to do. Is it going to be mostly manga? Is it going to be split between manga and poetry? I will report back next Monday. But, next Friday. I need to take, and well, it's a little too close to bedtime for me to take a nap. But I need to go ahead and sign off for now and go watch some of your Friday reads and weekly reading catch-ups. So until I see you next week, BookTube, thank you, have a great afternoon, evening, and stay safe.